Speed, power, dominance. Every sprinter dreams of being the fastest person on Earth. But in the world of track and field, potential alone isn't enough. For every Usain Bolt or Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, there are countless athletes who seemed destined for greatness, only to have their careers derailed by injury, inconsistency, or the crushing weight of expectations. In this video, we dive into the stories of some of sprinting's most promising talents. Each of these athletes showed flashes of brilliance, capturing the world's attention with their lightning speed and unbelievable performances. Yet, despite their promise, they've all faced setbacks that have kept them from achieving the greatness so many predicted. What happened to these rising stars? Why didn't their careers reach the heights everyone expected? And where are they now? This is the story of the cursed fate of sprinting's top talents. Born in St. Petersburg, Florida, Bromell burst onto the scene with electrifying speed, setting him apart from the rest of the field early on. His rise to stardom was meteoric. In 2014, as a freshman at Baylor University, Bromell became the first junior sprinter to break the 10-second barrier, clocking an astounding 9.97 seconds at the NCAA Outdoor Championships. This made him the youngest athlete to run under 10 seconds at just 18 years old. Immediately, he was labeled as the future of American sprinting. His journey to stardom continued with his bronze medal at the 2015 World Championships in Beijing. At just 20 years old, he was already competing with the world's elite. His electrifying performances and explosive start out of the blocks made experts and fans alike believe that he was set to dominate the 100 meters for years to come. But, just as quickly as he rose, his career took an unfortunate turn. In the 2016 Rio Olympics, Bromell was expected to challenge for a medal in the 100 meters. However, after finishing 8th in the final with a time of 10.06, he suffered a serious injury during the 4x100-meter relay. That injury, compounded with the toll it took on his body and confidence, marked the beginning of a series of setbacks that derailed his promising career. What followed were years of surgeries, rehabilitation, and struggles to return to his peak form. Between 2016 and 2019, he was barely able to compete, battling with recurring Achilles issues and the mental challenge of overcoming such a devastating injury. As younger sprinters started emerging on the scene, Bromell's name began fading from the conversation. After years of rehabilitation and intense training, he made an inspiring comeback in 2021, winning the U.S. Olympic trials and recording one of the fastest times in the world that year, running 9.77 seconds. Many believed this was the moment Bromell would finally realize his full potential. Despite entering the 2020 Tokyo Olympics as the favorite for gold, he shockingly failed to even make the 100-meter final. A dismal semifinal performance left fans in disbelief, and questions arose once more about whether he was capable of delivering under the bright lights of the biggest stages. His time of 9.88 seconds at the 2022 World Championships in Eugene brought him some redemption, but despite his persistence and resilience, he has struggled to recapture the magic that made him a teenage sensation. As of today, Trayvon is still active, a testament to his willpower and love for the sport. But the promise of becoming the next sprinting legend has eluded him. His story stands as one of unfulfilled potential. Bromell's cursed fate shows how even the brightest talents can be derailed by circumstances beyond their control, making his story one of both inspiration and heartbreak. Candace Hill was not just fast, she was a generational talent. At only 16 years old, she was already turning heads and making history. By the time she was a sophomore in high school, she was breaking records and establishing herself as one of the brightest stars in track and field. In 2015, she ran the 100 meters in 10.98 seconds, becoming the first high school girl to break the 11-second barrier. At 16, she was crowned the fastest high school sprinter ever, and it seemed as though she was on a direct path to global domination. That same year, she won the IAAF World Youth Championships in the 100 meters, and shortly after, signed a historic professional contract with ASICS, becoming the youngest American track athlete to turn professional. The buzz around Hill was undeniable. Many believed she was destined to be the face of women's sprinting for the next decade. With her exceptional speed and an Olympic-sized spotlight shining on her, Hill faced enormous pressure to live up to the early hype. She entered the professional world as a teenager, competing against older, more seasoned athletes. But as she transitioned to the professional ranks, things didn't go as smoothly as expected. One of the key challenges Hill faced was adjusting to the physical demands of the sport at an elite level. While her teenage years were filled with record-breaking performances, the step up to compete with fully developed athletes in the professional arena proved difficult. Hill struggled with consistency and, more critically, injuries. Hamstring issues in particular sidelined her and stunted her development just when she needed to be gaining valuable experience. As others in her generation began to emerge, Hill's name started slipping from the headlines. After turning pro in 2015, Hill was seen as a candidate for the 2016 Rio Olympics, but she did not make the team. In 2017, she had the chance to compete at the World Championships in London, but again didn't reach the heights that many thought she would. Over the following years, Hill continued to battle injuries and performance inconsistencies. She wasn't able to qualify for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, and the sport's rising stars began overshadowing her early achievements. Candace Hill continues to compete, but her early promise has not materialized into the dominant career many once predicted. Candace Hill's story is a reminder that being a prodigy doesn't guarantee long-term success. Though Hill may never become the sprinting legend many anticipated, her name will always be etched in history as a teenage wonder, still holding the title of the fastest high school girl in history. Born in San Diego, California, Michael Norman appeared to be the complete package, combining exceptional speed, strength, and versatility to dominate across multiple events. His versatility across both the 200 meters and 400 meters set him apart from the field early on, and his potential seemed limitless. Norman's breakthrough came in high school, where he dominated the competition. On June 6, 2015, Norman delivered one of the most remarkable one-day performances by a high school athlete at the CIF California State Meet. The Vista Murrieta Jr. kicked off the day with a jaw-dropping first leg in the 4x100-meter relay. He followed up with a 45.19 second run in the 400 meters, tying the national high school record. Next, Norman claimed the 200 meters state title in 20.30 seconds, setting the sixth-best mark in U.S. high school history. Less than an hour later, he anchored his team in the 4x400-meter relay, running a staggering 44.90-second split to bring them from 7th to 3rd place. With his contribution of 21.5 points, Norman led Vista Murrieta to its first-ever state championship in any sport, capping off an incredible day that saw him run 7 races in just 28 hours. He was awarded the title of Gatorade Player of Year in 2015. But it wasn't just his wins that caught attention, it was his times. At the 2016 Olympic trials, as a high school senior, he made the 200-meter final, running against seasoned professionals. This accomplishment, paired with his composure and speed, set expectations through the roof. Norman's career continued to skyrocket in college at the University of Southern California, where he cemented his status as a sprinting phenomenon. In 2018, Norman set an indoor American and collegiate record in the 400 meters, clocking an incredible 44.52 seconds. Later that year, at the NCAA Championships, he won the outdoor 400 meters with a time of 43.61 seconds, the fastest time ever recorded by a collegiate athlete and the 6th fastest in history. At only 20 years old, Michael Norman was being compared to legends like Michael Johnson, and many saw him as the future face of sprinting. Despite his stellar performances at the collegiate level, Norman struggled to live up to his potential on the international stage. In 2019, Norman's season was derailed by an untimely injury. At the 2019 World Championships in Doha, Norman, who was considered a favorite for the 400-meter gold, finished a disappointing 7th in his semifinal, failing to make the final due to a hamstring issue. This was a crushing blow for an athlete who had shown such dominance earlier that year. Heading into the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, Norman once again carried the weight of expectation. Many believed this was his time to finally break through on the biggest stage and secure a medal in the 400 meters. However, the pressure seemed to get to him again. In Tokyo, Norman qualified for the 400-meter final, but faded in the home stretch, finishing fifth with a time well below his personal best. Michael Norman's struggles on the global stage have often been attributed to a combination of factors: injuries, the mental pressure of competing as a favorite, and perhaps even the burden of being hyped as the next big thing in American track. Despite having one of the fastest personal bests in the world, his inability to consistently perform at major championships has left fans and critics wondering if he can ever overcome these barriers. Norman has bounced between focusing on the 200 meters and the 400 meters throughout his career, and that lack of a singular focus could be holding him back from achieving dominance in either event. Despite the disappointments, Michael Norman is far from finished. He remains one of the most talented sprinters in the world. In 2022, Norman won gold in the 400 meters at the World Championships in Eugene, Oregon. While it was a huge achievement, some still argue that Norman has yet to consistently live up to the hype surrounding his early career. At the 2024 Paris Olympics, he advanced to the final with the fastest qualifying time of 44.10 seconds, positioning himself for a breakout moment on the world's biggest stage. However, despite high expectations, he finished 8th in the final, leaving his quest for Olympic glory unfulfilled. Michael Norman's story is still being written. He remains an elite athlete with the potential to do great things. But his journey so far has been one of immense promise, overshadowed by untimely setbacks and missed opportunities on the world's biggest stages. In the spring of 2019, a name exploded onto the track and field scene: Matthew Boling. The Houston-born sprinter and long jumper became a viral sensation seemingly overnight. Videos of his performances spread like wildfire across social media, especially when he ran a wind-assisted 9.98 seconds in the 100 meters, a time no high schooler had ever come close to. Boling wasn't just a sprinter, he was a multi-talented track star. During his senior year of high school, he recorded the best long jump in the nation for a high school athlete in 10 years, set records in the 200 meters, and anchored 4x100 meters and 4x400 relays to victories. His versatility and speed made him the most talked-about track athlete in America. Everyone believed they were witnessing the rise of the next great American sprinter. With expectations skyrocketing, Boling committed to the University of Georgia, where he looked set to dominate at the collegiate level, with fans and analysts alike believing he was on track to become a star on the global stage. In his first season, Boling won the 2019 NCAA Indoor Championships 200-meter title, clocking 20.19. He competed in the 2021 Olympic trials, where he failed to make the Olympic team, finishing 14th in the 100 meters and missing out on the chance to compete in Tokyo. The world of collegiate and international sprinting was much tougher than high school, and Boling wasn't able to consistently break the elite times needed to compete with the fastest sprinters in the world. Boling was often good, but not great, failing to match the hype he had generated as a high schooler. The pressure, the expectations, and the increased level of competition began to expose the challenges Boling faced in reaching the top tier of global sprinting. One of the major factors that has influenced Boling's performance is the pressure that comes with viral fame. When you go viral, the world watches your every move, and the expectations become nearly impossible to meet. For Boling, his early success created a narrative that he would dominate not only at the collegiate level, but also as a future Olympian. This kind of pressure can be overwhelming, especially for a young athlete still finding his footing. Another challenge for Boling has been his struggle with specialization. Boling's attempts to balance sprinting with long jumping may have stretched him too thin. In the 100 and 200 meters, Boling has struggled to break into the sub-10 and sub-20 second barriers consistently, the times that separate the world's best from the rest. While other sprinters who emerged at the same time, like Noah Lyles or Ariane Knighton, quickly found international success, Boling seemed stuck. Despite his early promise and viral fame, His performances in major events haven't yet matched the lofty expectations set for him. Matthew Boling is still young and still competing, with time on his side. As of 2024, he has won multiple NCAA titles and continues to post impressive times. But the question remains, can he break through to the world stage and fulfill the immense potential he showed as a high school phenom? At the 2024 U.S. Olympic qualifying trials, Boling reached the finals in the 400 meters, finishing 8th. With a top 3 finish required to secure an Olympic spot, Boling fell short of automatic qualification and was not selected for a relay team. Boling's career is far from over, and his story is still being written. He has shown flashes of brilliance, but whether he can overcome the weight of early fame, hone his focus on a single event, and break through on the global stage remains to be seen. His tale so far is one of unrealized promise, a reminder that viral fame and early talent don't always translate to long-term dominance. Christian Coleman's rise in the sprinting world was nothing short of spectacular. Born in Atlanta, Georgia, Coleman quickly made a name for himself as one of the fastest men on the planet. His combination of blistering speed and explosive starts earned him a reputation as a potential heir to Usain Bolt's throne. In 2016, Coleman qualified for the U.S. Olympic trials in both the 100 and 200 meters. He broke the 10-second barrier for the first time, clocking 9.95 seconds. In the final, he finished 6th, which potentially earned him a spot on the 4x100-meter relay team. On July, he was officially named to the U.S. relay team, running the second leg during the Olympic heats. Coleman's major international breakthrough came in 2017. After sweeping both the 100 and 200 meters at the NCAA Outdoor Championships, he turned professional by signing with Nike. At the U.S. Championships in Sacramento, Coleman placed second in the 100 meters with a time of 9.98 seconds, just behind Justin Gatlin. In 2017, he won silver medals in both the 100 meters and 4x100-meter relay at the World Championships in London, beating Usain Bolt. At just 21 years old, he had already proven he could compete with the world's best. But what really caught the world's attention was his performance in the indoor 60 meters. Coleman dominated this short-distance event, setting a world record in 2018 by running 6.34 seconds, a time that solidified his place as one of the fastest starters in the history of the sport. The expectations surrounding Christian Coleman were enormous. With his lightning-quick starts and impressive top-end speed, many saw him as the man destined to become the face of global sprinting. Coleman's defining moment came at the 2019 World Championships in Doha. With the eyes of the track world on him, Coleman delivered an electrifying performance in the 100 meters, winning gold with a time of 9.76 seconds, the fastest in the world that year and the 6th fastest time in history. This victory marked the peak of Coleman's career. At 23, he had ascended to the top of the sprinting world, and it seemed inevitable that he would carry this momentum into the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. But just as Coleman was poised for Olympic greatness, his career took a devastating turn. In 2019, Christian Coleman's path to glory was derailed by a series of missed doping tests. While Coleman was never accused of taking any banned substances, his failure to make himself available for routine drug tests on 3 separate occasions over 12 months led to a provisional suspension by the Athletics Integrity Unit. In elite track and field, athletes are required to inform anti-doping authorities of their whereabouts so they can be tested at any time. Missing 3 tests in a year is considered a violation of anti-doping rules, and Coleman found himself facing a lengthy suspension. In October 2020, Coleman was handed a 2-year ban, which ruled him out of the rescheduled 2020 Tokyo Olympics, an event where many believed he could have won gold. The missed tests and subsequent ban were a huge blow to Coleman's career. He went from being the fastest man in the world and a heavy favorite for Olympic gold to facing a tarnished reputation and time away from the sport. The suspension not only cost him his shot at Olympic glory, but also raised questions about his professionalism and commitment to the strict standards required of elite athletes. In 2022, Coleman returned to competition after serving his ban, But reclaiming his former dominance has been an uphill battle. His performances have been solid, but not spectacular, certainly not on par with his pre-suspension form. At the 2022 World Championships in Eugene, Coleman finished 6th in the 100-meter final, far from the podium and a shadow of the world champion he once was. The missed time, coupled with the rapid rise of new sprinting stars, has made it difficult for Coleman to re-establish himself as the man to beat. The 2-year gap in competition left him out of rhythm, and while he remains one of the fastest sprinters in the world, the aura of invincibility he once carried has faded. As of 2024, Christian Coleman is still competing and remains a formidable force in the 100 meters, but the momentum he once had is no longer on his side. At the start of the 2023 World Athletics Championships in Budapest, Coleman had a season's best of 9.91 seconds, which he improved to 9.88 in the semifinals. However, in the final, a slight slip cost him valuable time. Despite recovering some ground, Coleman missed out on an individual medal. His only podium finish came in the 4x100 meters relay, where Team USA took gold. Later in the season at the Siamen Diamond League, Coleman tied the world lead with a time of 9.83 seconds. He repeated this performance at the 2023 Diamond League Finals, narrowly beating Noah Lyles. This time marked Coleman's fastest since the 2019 World Championships. Coleman's story is one of incredible talent undermined by personal mistakes. At his peak, he was the fastest man in the world and a world champion. But his failure to comply with anti-doping rules, even without any evidence of drug use, led to a dramatic fall from grace. As we reflect on the stories of these promising sprinters, it becomes clear that the journey of an athlete is fraught with challenges that go beyond mere talent. Each of these sprinters showcased immense potential and the ability to break records. Yet they also faced obstacles that tested their resilience and determination. In the world of elite sports, success is never guaranteed. Injuries, pressures of expectation, and the relentless march of time can change the trajectory of even the most promising careers. Their stories serve as a reminder that talent can only take an athlete so far. Perseverance, focus, and a bit of luck often determine who rises to greatness. While these athletes may not have achieved the accolades once predicted, they continue to push forward, striving for redemption and the chance to leave their mark on the track. As we celebrate their past accomplishments and the effort they put into their craft, let us remember that the path to greatness is rarely linear and that every setback can lead to a new beginning. What is your opinion on this topic? Which of these sprinters do you think has the best chance to reclaim their glory in the future, and why? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep chasing greatness.